Have you ever considered how two people can come from the same launch pad, share similar backgrounds, inherit the same opportunities, yet end up in two completely different places in life? In trying to understand this, most people default to their comfort. Statements that confirm that the problem isn't them, rather the situation that they were presented with. He's just lucky. He was in the right place at the right time. And they often speak as if success is a lottery ticket, pre-selected for a privileged few or a birthright given to those that were born for it. They act as if the game of life is rigged and the cards are stacked high against them. But there's an uncomfortable truth that liberates those that accept it. Success is no respecter of persons. Success doesn't play favorites. Success couldn't care less about your origins, about your pedigree, or about your circumstances. It only cares about what is being done in the present and the relentless application of specific, actionable principles. So if you're looking at anybody in your life and you're wondering why they're winning, know that it's not luck, it's principle. And today, we're going to reveal the blueprint that top performers follow, how successful people leverage these principles in order to win in life. We've all heard the stories. Someone wins the lottery, millions of dollars, and in 7 years, they're broke, in debt, and in jail. Worse off than they were before they even bought the ticket. Why? They had money. Shouldn't that have solved everything for them? No. Because having money doesn't make you wealthy. Wealth isn't about how much you get. It's about the principles you follow to manage, to multiply, and ultimately to sustain it. A person without financial discipline will lose money just as fast as they get it. This is why athletes and musicians can make $50 million and then end up bankrupt. While on the other hand, an average person who consistently follows wealth principles can live comfortably even on a modest salary. So the first thing I want you to consider is that principles, not luck, determine success. You've probably seen the high school athletes that were dominant, untouchable, the kind of players who seemed like they were born for greatness. But when they reached the next level, they fizzled out. Why is that? Because talent can get you in the door, but discipline and consistency keep you in the room. Now, if we look at someone like Kobe Bryant, sure, he was talented, but what made him a legend wasn't talent. It was his work ethic. He practiced at 4 a.m. before everyone else was awake. He took thousands of extra shots after practice while the others hit the showers. He watched game film while others were relaxing. This is why Kobe Bryant succeeded where more naturally gifted players failed, because talent and luck open doors, but applied principles keep them open. So what about you? Yeah, maybe you don't shoot the ball like Kobe, but every single one of us were instilled with a gifting. And no matter what our gifting is, it is our responsibility to operate in that gifting with consistency and a degree of excellence. Excellence in itself is not the gift. God did not look down from heaven and say, okay, this baby's gonna be able to sing, this baby's gonna have athletic ability, this baby's going to be excellent. Excellence is a decision, and it is a decision that you and I are presented with every single day, no matter what our inner gifts are. There are universal laws that surround success. Success isn't random, it's actually quite predictable. And if we look at the patterns of behavior of the successful, you'll see that they are applying and they're doing a lot of the same things. Think about gravity. Gravity don't care if you are rich or poor. Gravity don't care who your mama, daddy, cousin, and them are. Gravity does not care if you are a trust fund baby. Gravity doesn't care if you're so poor that you can't pay attention. It doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, young, old. If you step off the ledge, you're going down, because the law itself is set to work how the law works. And success is the same way. So remember, the people who succeed, they aren't lucky. Throw that out your mind. They follow principles that produce success. And the laws of success will work no matter who you are. So let's break down the most powerful principles that top performers follow without exception. Number one, discipline. Discipline is the foundation of every top performer, no matter what field. Behind every athlete, entrepreneur, leader, there is a strict routine that they refuse to break. They don't wait for motivation. They don't sit at the table of mediocrity and negotiate with excuses. They do the work whether they feel like it or not. Let's say you wanted to go to a Falcons game. You show up at Mercedes-Benz Arena and you go up to the front gate, but you never bought a ticket. They not letting you in. And the reason they're not letting you in is because you didn't pay the price of admission. And I would submit this thought to you. Discipline is the price of admission to the event called success. If you don't pay it, you're not getting in. Number two, consistency. Now, when we're talking about consistency, we're talking about the difference between those that dabble in a thing and those that master a thing. The most common pattern is that people try things for a little while, they don't get an instant result, and then they quit. But success doesn't come from occasional efforts. It comes from daily, relentless consistency. Discipline and consistency, they're a team. Discipline is required to start. Consistency is required to grow and get better. And anyone who's successful in any field, they put in the work every single day. Not just when they feel inspired, not just when things were easy, every single day. The third principle is delayed gratification. This is the secret to long-term wins. In study of the wealthiest, most successful people, we begin to see that they all have this one thing in common. They master the art of patience. And some of us can't stand to be in the waiting room. One of my least favorite things about going to a doctor's appointment is the waiting room. You are asked to arrive, let's say 45 minutes early. So you get there early, you're gonna do the right thing. Get there 45 minutes early, you go to the front desk, they hand you a clipboard. They say, hey, fill out this information. You're like, okay, well, could have done this online, but I'll fill out the information. You give your information to the front desk and the front desk says, all right, have your seat. We'll call you over when we're ready. And you begin to sit in the waiting room for the next hour. You starting to get antsy. You meet Bob, the accountant, and Bob, the accountant, just wants to talk about the weather. And so you humor Bob, the accountant, a little bit. And then across the room, there's Sally, who's there with her little girl. But Sally really not paying attention to the little girl. So she running around the waiting room, screaming, coming up to you, handing you toys. And finally, after waiting an hour, they call you back to the doctor's room and the nurse comes in. You still don't see the doctor. You are waiting. The nurse takes your vitals and say, all right, well, the doctor will be right in. You sit on that white piece of paper, and you know the one I'm talking about, for 20 more minutes. The doc comes in, asks you a couple of questions, puts you out in 5 minutes, says, take some Tylenol. Some Tylenol? We hate waiting. But the successful have learned to master the art of patience. And they've learned to focus more on the objective than they do the goal that seems so far away. Warren Buffett didn't get rich by chasing quick money. Jeff Bezos didn't build Amazon overnight. And there's something about playing the long game in life. And this is the mental game. Is can we stay in something long enough for it to eventually produce the fruit that we're looking for? And I want you to remember this. Success isn't an event, it is a process. And either you master patience or you settle for the short-term results that never last. So how do we apply principles? One of my favorite sayings is, success leaves clues. So all you and I have to do if we want to win is follow the clues. So the first thing we need to do is identify the patterns. Study the people who have what you want. How do they think? What are their habits? What are they doing that others aren't? Number two, reverse engineer success. Instead of envying the successful, study the very thing that created their success and paint a picture for your own life and figure out, okay, if that's where I'm going, where do I need to start? What steps do I need to take that will eventually get me to that picture? Number 3, apply and adjust. Knowing isn't enough. It is the execution that matters in life. Wisdom is the ability to use knowledge. So at some point, we have to stop collecting knowledge only and start applying what we've learned. Track your progress, adjust your strategies as needed, but most importantly, stay in the game, because principles come in seed form. They start in that small, tiny action. You're like, all right, I'm going to apply this principle. And the thing about a seed is that seeds grow downward before they grow upward. And so it's going to look like nothing's happening. But if you apply the principle over and over and over again, if you nurture the principle, eventually you're going to start seeing sprouts above ground. And it ain't luck. It's happening because you've applied the principle long enough to see the result. Don't expect instant results. Have faith in the principle. One of the things that I've been telling myself is there's no way that I am going to put all of this work in. There's no way that I am going to consistently put the seed in the ground and water and nurture the seed and not see a harvest. There's no way this will not work for me. There's no way I won't be rewarded. I just have to stick to it. The results seem invisible, but stay consistent. The reward is coming. Put principles to the test. At the end of the day, success isn't about luck, talent, who you know. It's about what you do every single day. And remember that success doesn't care about who you are, where you're from. It only cares if you follow the rules. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one principle and apply it relentlessly. What do you need to focus on? Is it your discipline? Getting started? Is it your consistency? Picking up the axe every single day? Is it your delayed gratification? You're getting cranky in the waiting room? Drop it in the comments for accountability, and let's commit that for the next 30 days, we're going to apply the principle and track the progress. And let's just see what happens when we apply principles without excuses. Success isn't avoiding you. It's all around you, but it only moves towards the person who's willing to follow the principles. Always remember that growth is a journey, it's not a destination. I'm in it with you, and I'll see you on the next one.